Welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and I've got a 1994 LesaBre beside me. This customer owned a Volkswagen that had a blown motor. And last year I did a diagnosis on the blown motor and told him it was dead. And they bought this 94 LesaBre with some issues and asked me to diagnose it right afterwards. And I was like, 94? I never did any diagnosing on it. I guess they figured it out, but I told them it was going to be tricky. And this video is sponsored by ASPERX. I've got an air inflator here. This thing will put out a ton of air. I use one of these pretty much on every call out, so let's put this to the test today and make sure these tires are filled up. So I think they definitely already had a broken sway bar link because the second one broke and the whole sway bar is now twisted into the axle and making some noise. That's what I got called out for, but it was pretty easy to see what it was. They thought it was the CV axle, so I just did a diagnosis yesterday. Let me go show you how crazy this looks. Okay, so this is the ASPERX AX60. This is a good size. It feels pretty heavy, so it should have a decent battery in it. This puts out 150 PSI. That's great. I would say if you're looking for one of these, I would look for something that's like 100, 120 minimum, so 150 fits the bill. And ASPERX actually gave us a special discount, so check out the link in the description of the pinned comment if you want to get one at an extra special price. Okay, these tires look pretty full. I don't see one that's flat. If there was one or two that were flat, I would make sure this was fully charged. You'll usually need a full charge to fill up 2 or 3 full tires. But to top off tires, I can usually do about 10 with one this size. Pressure in the tires is one of the most overlooked things in vehicles, so if you don't want to keep up with that, it's always nice to have one of these in your car, because we all know the gas stations don't work half the time. And one of the best things about this air pump is it's less than 80 decibels, so I'm just talking normal. Okay, so they initially thought that maybe they had a bad axle. Goodness. Did you see that fall apart? Pretty sure that was old. That used to be metal. That looks like the cap. Not just gunk on there. Anyways, I think they thought there was grease in here, and then they took it a double look and told me I needed to diagnose it rather than just plan on it being the axle. But as soon as I looked at it, I was like, dang, something's wrong with that. But where's the clip? It's definitely right there. Why is the sway bar pushed up like that? Both links are broken, so I've got both with me. Let's go ahead and replace them. It should take about an hour. Okay, so when it comes to sway bar links like that, I almost never have luck on doing the nut off the stud. So why bother when this takes just as long as the first try? And it's really easy because you have so much room for error. You just gotta cut through that nut there so you can go through the rubber there. As long as you don't hit that sway bar, you're golden. But I mean, if you nicked it, it would be fine. It would just be unprofessional. Okay, let's get it. Keep my face out of the way. No safety glasses. That's what you get for no looking when I'm a steep angler. Yeah, which I thought I smelled rubber. And I was like, that's weird. But not after I saw that angle. That might be cut through enough to bust it off either way. Okay, that just shot itself off. I think it didn't burn me. So I got through. That's all you gotta do. That'll come off easy. Easier. Still gonna be dry rotted. Get off. Rusty. But the sway bar looks alright. Good enough to reuse, I mean, especially on a 94 LesaBre. Super. Alright, turns out the only difference in those sway bar links was the brand. So just run these to the last ones. I don't know if there's a difference. So what I'm gonna do on this side is just get the top going, and I'm gonna leave the bottom dangling free. So when I go on the other side and I have to push the sway bar down, because it's connected downwards on both sides, which on some vehicles it's the opposite on one side to the other. Anyways, these are both down, so if I put this down now, first off, it probably won't reach the hole, but I might cause some problems over there, so I'll come back and do the bottom part of this one after. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Just kind of chilling in the hole, so it shouldn't go anywhere. And I'll come back and put these on after. I've got a jack stand there. Dude, this frame is sketchy. I didn't even lift it up right there. I lifted it up on the body mount because this was so bent. And then I was like, should I put a jack stand on that frame rail? That ain't a frame rail. Look how bent that is. Why'd they make that look like a frame rail? It's pretty common though. It's just a little bit of reinforcement. Anyway, so it's on the subframe. Let's go and jack the other side up. To put that back on. Why do these studs look so short? Just long enough. Just overthinking it now that first one didn't want to come off. Let's see. We got the bottom stuck. I'll just chomp right through that rubber there. And the top's rusted out. I don't know. A worm gear clip on the CV axle might not be a good idea, but I'll take that other hose clamp off when I get over there, and I guess I'll put a hose clamp on that CV boot to keep the grease in on the other side too. There it goes. Why are these things shooting off like that? That rubber's so swollen under pressure. Get out of there. Yeah. Not bad. Let's do the same thing. I need a pry bar. Now these things are gonna fall because I put them in upside down because that's the way it came out. Oh yeah, it grabbed. All right, let's hit that other side. Should be plenty tight right there, locking nut, not going anywhere. All right, almost done. All right, got all these right around 120, right on it. I've got a good feel for that, so most tires go back on with this. I've done 120 foot-pounds on an adapter so many times on this. I've got a real good feel for it. Okay, here's that factory clip. I could try and reuse it, but it usually doesn't work out very well. I've got this in, and again, I'm worried about putting a worm gear hose clamp on there just because it's going to be less balanced, so hopefully they don't notice any shaking. But it's so small, hopefully it doesn't do anything, but all it takes is a little bit of variation in the axles to get some wobble, so we'll see. I think that's a much better idea than using one of those heavy hose clamps. I just have a gut feeling that's going to cause an issue, so I'm going to go with the option that's a band-aid right now and not a great fix. It should hold up though. I mean, I don't see any issues with that. I think that's a good idea. Let me know what you think. gonna go ahead and put this tire back on. We're done. Got that tightened down. When I get tired, I like to jack up cars like this rather than bending over. It takes twice as long, but half the effort. Oh. Tired, it's my first job. Got 3 more today, 4 total.